So Madden Ultimate Team is dying. Here we sit in February 23rd as I'm recording this video with an attempt to make another hashtag relating to Madden trend again. Obviously we had Fix Madden franchise trending in August. That kind of took the Madden world and the gaming world by storm. For one of the first times in at least that I can recall, EA took notice of what the community was saying. They publicly stated that they were going to try to do something to address people's concern, and that made a lot of people feel better about the situation. Even though we haven't seen many fixes actually come to franchise, they've tried to be transparent about the changes coming in the future, and it seems like they've made a genuine effort to plan ahead for those changes. Granted, time will still tell if they do hold up to their word or not, or if those changes come. But when it comes to Madden Ultimate Team, here we are in February. According to a lot of people, we have a lack of content again. They see the game going down the same path that it went on last year. Content ended early. The summer was completely dry. EA did not communicate about it at all, and it really pissed a lot of people off. Now, I love Madden Ultimate Team. I fell in love with the game mode back in Madden 25. That's when it was first introduced to me. That's when I understood the complexity behind it, how much there is as far as the possibilities of where the game can go, what can really be accomplished within the game, how fun it can be, and how much extra it can add to the Madden franchise as a whole. To me, that's the glory days of Madden Ultimate Team, and it had so many problems back in the day. You could use 4 night train lanes on the same team, and it's come a long way since then. We have great promos that we can look forward to every single year. We have great cards that we love, game modes that have been added, solo challenges, solo battles, weekend league. All this stuff didn't necessarily exist back in the day, and so a lot of improvements have been made. But here we are, February 23rd, 2021. Madden 21 seems to be slowing down, even though we've been told that we're in the middle of MUT season right now, and it's really pissed a lot of people off. I'm here to just give my take on what I think about the situation, and if you disagree with my take, that's fine. I won't be hurt over it. I am genuinely interested in how people feel about this, but the only thing that I can do is give my perspective on the situation. Now, EA has not shied away from controversy in the past. Obviously, Battlefront 2 was one of the most disastrous launches in video game history. Loot boxes, issues with the game, wasn't playable. All these things came together and just created havoc. Not to mention their CEO, Andrew Wilson, bringing in millions in bonuses, yet the player base of the games that EA owns are relentlessly angry, frustrated, pissed off at the fact that EA continues to dramatically monetize their games without focusing on putting the player first.
Is this good for the player? Is this good for the player? Is this good for the player?
Now, when some games do this, you think, okay, well, the free market always wins. If players don't like what a company's doing, they can stop playing the game, they'll play another game, replace it with whatever they want to play, and then that game will be successful. However, when it comes to franchises like Battlefront or the sports industries, EA has exclusive rights over these games, which makes players feel trapped. And I get it. I feel it too. There is no other sim football game to play because EA owns the exclusive sim football rights. Same thing goes with FIFA. When it came to Star Wars, for a while, they owned the rights to that. There was no other Battlefront game to go play. No other gaming publisher could create a game similar to it, so there was no competition. There was no free market. This allowed EA to monopolize the market, which anyone who loves or appreciates the free market capitalist system understands that what we have here is not a free market. They have completely monopolized the system in their favor. No matter what players do, no matter how much they complain, it doesn't matter because EA doesn't have to change anything. They own the exclusive rights to the game. And because of that, people don't have anywhere else to turn. This is the game. I love the NFL. I want to play games about the NFL, but I have nowhere else to go. That's why I play Madden. For all its faults, I do think it genuinely can be a very fantastic game. I put thousands, literally thousands of hours into this game. I put hundreds of hours into Madden Ultimate Team, probably thousands over the years because I just enjoy it so much. Whether it be grinding, whether it be playing online, whether it be playing weekend league and pulling my hair out because of how frustrated I get, I still come back to the game because I thoroughly enjoy it. And that's because I care about it. I love NFL football. I love playing a game that represents or is close to a sim NFL experience, but also can be competitive at the same time. I love making videos about it. That's why I started this channel. But it seems to me that things are changing. EA is currently facing lawsuits from every which direction you can possibly face about gambling, loot boxes, loot crates, all of the above from several different countries, whether it be their FIFA franchise, when Battlefront was going through the havoc, or with Ultimate Team. They're facing lawsuits. Legislators are cracking down on companies that put these loot box or gambling mechanisms in a game. That's what Ultimate Team packs are. They are gambling. Gambling is the wagering of money or something of value to an event with an uncertain outcome, with the primary intent of winning money or material goods. They're winning Ultimate Team players, which converts into coins or virtual currency, but people are risking real money in doing it. Madden has an E rating. That means it's E for everyone. That means anyone of any age can access these games. They can access Ultimate Team, and in doing so, they can gamble money on packs. But it's an addiction. It's a serious addiction. There's a reason why 1-800-GAMBLER exists. There's a reason why people struggle with this. And no, I'm not saying I'm addicted. Personally, I've never spent a dime on this game. There's a reason why this is so serious. There's a reason why they're facing lawsuits from it. There's a reason why there's so much legal liability. There's also a reason why they make so much freaking money from this game. I'm not arguing the fact that EA Sports reaps in a ton of money from these games. We know the company's worth billions. We know annually they bring in billions of dollars in revenue. You can see that on their 10K or 10Q, which for those of you that don't know, that's pretty much an annual or quarter revenue statement. Shows their profits and losses, shows where they got the money from, shows what their expenses are. It's to assist investors in making educated and informed decisions on whether or not to invest in a company. You can see this information firsthand. It's all public, how much this company brings in. Madden 21 outsold Madden 20 at launch by 20%. People are still buying this game, yet search volume is declining according to Google Trends. Since 2017, it's declined 20%. Good Morning Madden didn't exist when Madden 25 Ultimate Team was in play. There was no content update. There was no Twitter to access. There was no community. S. Gibbs had their own show that we like to watch that was put on because they just enjoyed the game. Now EA is Good Morning Madden. They have EA Madden NFL Direct. They have all these different Twitter accounts where they try to communicate us. Granted, they are terrible. They have to have one of the worst PR communication departments in the world. But the point that I'm making is in the 5 or 6 years since they didn't have any of that, they've come a long way. They've tried to bring in people from the community. And no, I don't think it's enough. I think they could have done a lot more, and I think they've handled a lot of this horribly. However, they have tried to do something. You can call me an EA apologist for this. You can call me whatever you want. But I think we're getting to a point where the consistent and constant outrage from the community, the backlash from the community, that no matter what promos they put in the game, no matter what cards they put in the game, nobody is ever satisfied. Really think about it. Really try to understand and think back the last couple years of how Madden Ultimate Team has been, how content has been, how gameplay has been. No matter what EA Sports does, there is always somebody that's going to be pissed off, and they are always the loudest. It's called the vocal minority for a reason, because the smallest crowds usually chant the loudest. And in this situation, it's just a lot of backlash and a lot of very pissed off people that has led to nothing but outrage against EA Sports, on top of the fact that they're facing multiple lawsuits across the world, albeit some are for different games, but it's still the same company. They still have the same legal departments, whether they work on one game or another game. Communication like this, even in a bureaucratic company, still happens. And it's getting to a point where the legal liability, the community backlash, and negative PR becomes just not financially worth it for the monetary gain that they create, for the revenue that they bring in from Madden Ultimate Team, or from FIFA Ultimate Team, or from loot boxes. There's a lot of reasons why games are free to play now, and instead a battle pass system was created, because it's the ebbs and flows. I think the Act-Man created a fantastic video where he broke down loot boxes and the development of loot boxes over the years. If you're interested, I'll link it down in the description. I highly recommend you go check it out. At the end of the day, EA Sports has one obligation, and that's the obligation to the shareholders. They're going to do what best financially suits their company. It does take a lot of time, a lot of man hours to create content consistently throughout the game, and I'm sure that they have looked at the analytics throughout the last couple years and seen when purchases begin to die out, and I'm willing to bet it's after the Super Bowl. It's around this time that we are. So they're probably repurposing those teams and those specific people to other areas to focus on. If that's the next game, I don't know. If that's another game, I don't know. If it's fixing bugs and issues in the current game, I don't know what those people are being refocused on, but I'm willing to bet that if EA has seen a steady decline from their analytics, which they do have, in the amount of packs and revenue brought in around this time of year, they're going to put less time and man hours behind creating new content, coming out with new cards, developing new promos, when all it does is consistently lead to backlash, legal trouble, and doesn't even bring in that much revenue. Now, I'm not saying we're seeing the end of Ultimate Team in its entirety. I don't know what the future holds. To be honest, no one really does, because the damn company doesn't communicate with anyone. But it is easy to see that we are starting to see a trend here, that the Madden season ends earlier and earlier every single year. I think a reasonable person can suspect it has to do with, based on previous year's analytics, when does the money stop coming in and what drives their business, because they have to report to stakeholders what they're doing, how they're using their resources effectively. If they have operational costs, how are they using up those operational costs to to bring in revenue. And if the revenue stops around this time of year, then that probably means they're going to take those resources and use them elsewhere. Now, is this frustrating as someone who loves this game and loves this mode and loves the NFL? Absolutely. And the reason that I laid out it's the most frustrating is because we have nowhere else to go. They own the exclusive rights. There's nobody else who can make a sim football game. And the lack of competition is what really aggravates the player base, I think, because there's just nowhere else to go, man. There's nowhere else to play. Content creators rely on this for their jobs, for their income. So of course they're the most vocal. Of course they're the ones trying to start movements and get things trending on Twitter, like hashtag make MUT great again. Whatever you see your content creators saying, just try to understand that they are biased. They do have motivation, financial motivation behind what they're saying, myself included. There is bias here. You need to keep that perspective when watching or listening or reading anything that you're consuming. Guys, I love this game mode. I love this game. I love the NFL. I want to see it thrive and succeed. And I want transparency and communication from EA Sports, because if they actually mean to do things that are good for the player, like Andrew Wilson has said,
is this good for the player? Is this good for the player? Is this good for the player?
then show us, talk to us, communicate with us. Don't just leave us out to dry. Don't just leave us hanging, because at the end of the day, we have nowhere else to go. We have no other game to play that's a sim football game. Just to be told that if you don't like it, don't play it, that really stinks. I think that's one of the worst possible ways you can ever handle a situation like this. When it comes to my videos, if you don't like them, don't watch them, because there are a million other Madden content creators out there. So I know that you have another option. If I were the only Madden creator in the world, for me to say that, even though I owned all exclusive rights to all Madden content creation, that would be a shitty fucking thing for me to say. And that's basically what EA Sports has told us through various streams.
It's your time. If you don't enjoy playing the game, if you don't enjoy certain things, you don't enjoy being on the stream, just cut it off. You know, go do your thing. You can totally do that. At the end of the day, you're in control of your destiny.
Through not communicating with us, that's us reading between the lines, and that's where my frustration really stems from. I think MUT might honestly be on its way out. I don't know what it will be replaced with. I don't know how many years we have left of it, whether it's one, whether this is the last year, whether we have 5 years left of it. I don't think it'll be around forever for the reasons that I've stated throughout this video. This is just my thought on the situation. I don't like making videos like this, whether it be a rant or just negative. I'm not normally the guy to do that. I use YouTube as an escape from the real world. I use it as a place of positivity and optimism and to enjoy something as entertainment. But being a guy who loves this game, really, I do love this game, and I do love this game mode. I just hope that there's positive change coming in the future. I just hope there's communication coming in the future, and I hope EA Sports can pull their head out of their ass and realize why people are so frustrated, so they can do something to address it, because they are the worst company in the video game space.